Hey, people. I'm back in the saddle. I'm back out delivering. I know there wasn't any huge demand from the general population for me to be churning out more YouTube videos, but I mean, it's making me happy. This is the first time I've been out for a month, an enforced separation from delivering, because about a month ago my bike or motorbike was stolen by some cheeky scamps in broad daylight in one of the busiest streets in Sheffield on a sort of a Monday lunchtime, so that was nice. And it's taken a while to get everything sorted out. Obviously I had to get a new bike and sort out insurance, and there's been all kinds of things I've had to buy because so many things were stolen along with the bike, you know, gloves and pumps and God knows what else. So yeah, it's been a bit of a long haul to get back out on the road, but I'm finally here. You can see I've got a brand new bike. I'll pull over in a moment and let the rabbit see the dog or whatever. Dog see the rabbit? I don't know. Okay, so this is the new bike. This is the Forza 350 I got. Quite similar to my previous one, to be honest with you, just slightly different form factor. I was going to do a review of the bike, but just that I don't really understand anything about bikes. I could tell you all the features it's got. It's got ABS and traction control. But I suppose if I talked about those things, I might have to explain what they are and why they're important and why I need them, but I have no idea. But it's quite sleek looking, isn't it? Quite futuristic. Quite nifty. And of course, eminently stealable, which is a bit of a concern. So obviously it's a bit on my mind, given that my last bike was stolen. So what I will be using is this. This is a disc lock. I'll be putting it on almost every opportunity I can to try to prevent thieves from taking it. I mean, ultimately, if they're going to take it, they're going to take it. There's nothing you can do. All you can do is try to make it as unpleasant and stretch it out as long as possible that they might give up, or they might look at the disc lock and say, can't be arsed with that. So we'll see what happens. But I've also, you can notice I don't have a top box at the moment, because obviously they actually destroyed my top box as well on my previous bike. They did give it to me. They kicked it off and left it on the pavement, but they broke it and there's no way to repair it. So I'm kicking it old school with a delivery backpack until I can work out what top box to get for it. Take a bit of time. I'm out today. This is a Monday lunchtime. It's exactly 1 month since my last bike was stolen. Let's hope this doesn't portend for today being a celebration of the anniversary with other balaclavaed bellends deciding they want to take this one. But we'll see. All right, go online with Deliveroo. I'm only out on Deliveroo at the moment because Uber Eats are being a bit fussy about the insurance and accepting it. So I'm waiting for them to do that. So let's see. It's been a while. It's nice to be back out on the bike and back out delivering, I tell you. It's one of those things you kind of forget how much you miss it until you're not doing it, and then you're like, oh, you start getting really antsy and seeing other people delivering. You go, oh, I want to get out and deliver. So it is nice. Although obviously I am immensely sort of stressed and paranoid about theft. So as we go around today, you're probably going to hear me expressing great concern over whether I should lock the bike up and whether it's in a safe place and God knows what else. Now, some of you might say, or at least I'm imagining some of you might say, you know, why'd you buy another big kind of fancy bike? Rather, why don't you just get a crappy old moped and, you know, something cheap and cheerful that if it gets stolen perhaps doesn't matter too much? And that's a very, very good point. One I don't have a very good answer for, but if I was going to answer it, I would say that you can't live your life in fear, can you? You can't just not buy nice things on the possibility that someone might steal it. I mean, every bike is a target ultimately. But yeah, I actually feel a little bit nervous doing this for the first time after a month. It all feels a bit awkward and uncomfortable, particularly having the backpack on when I've got used to the top box. That's going to be a bit weird. But yeah, I mean, just to talk about the bike while I'm waiting for orders to come in, oh, here we go. We got something. Starbucks. Do I want to do Starbucks? Woodside Lane. It's going quite a way, but hey, what the hell? You know, I don't think I've got the option to not accept orders at this stage. So let's go and pick those up from Starbucks not far from here. But I hope you've all been well over the summer and having a good one. It's been it's been an interesting one for me, obviously. It's been quite frustrating not being able to get out and deliver. So yeah, it's a nice nimble little bike, even though it's 350cc. It doesn't feel sort of overly heavy. In fact, it feels lighter than the previous one, even though I think it's basically the same engine. It's very nippy. I've been watching a lot of motorcycle videos, obviously, recently, and, you know, the phrase they use is it's flickable, which I'm not sure I'm keen on that phrase, but I understand what they mean. You know, it's easy to kind of just move it around and push it from corners and you know, controlled maneuvers, small spaces. It's all very, very good at that. And probably even better than the previous one, which felt a bit clunky at times. Always felt like it was a bit top heavy as well. It's always going to fall over. This one's much lower. Bit sleeker. Obviously that falls in line with you know, the rider. Sleek, fashionable individual that I am. Alright, here we are at the Starbucks. I'm hoping there's not too many drinks in this. Let's see where I can park. Oh, there's a nice little parking spot there. I think I can just nip into here. Should be okay for a few seconds. Connect this. Okay, two things I forgot to do. Firstly, put the steering lock on, which I should be doing every single time. And secondly, putting the disc lock on. It's going to take me a while to get used to doing this. All right, just got to remember to put it back off when I come off. That for me. Thank you. All right, that one's picked up. Oh, I felt a bit rusty doing that, I tell you. But I've got another order to pick up on the way. This is from Iceland. Not sure how much space. This is going to be an interesting one because I do have quite a bit of under-seat storage on this bike, and I'm wondering if I can put a good chunk of this under there. So yeah, there's a few things I've got to get used to with this bike. One, it's got this kind of a windshield, which I've never really had on a bike before. It's kind of an electric one, which is quite cool. It goes up and down, you can see. Which is kind of cool on the motorways. I bought this in a place near Leeds and had to go back on the M1. And being able to put that up a bit higher, and it really did shield you from the wind on the faster roads. That was pretty handy. It's also got kind of analog dials on it, so sort of a analog speedometer, which again I think I'm struggling with. I got so used to just reading it off a screen and just seeing a number. I'm just not used to looking down and trying to sort of work out what speed I'm doing from a speedometer. It's such a weird feeling. I've got to be really careful. I'm not going over the speed limit. Oh yeah, it's good to be back again, folks. It really is. Absolutely lovely. Yes, I'm absolutely terrified of my bike being stolen again. But there's just also a part of me that's like, oh, fuck it, you know? Can't let these people ruin your life all the time. So yeah, let me tell you a bit, because I didn't record the day that my bike was stolen. So it was a sort of a Monday lunchtime. about 12-ish, 12:30, something like that. I was on a road in Sheffield, very busy, popular road for takeaways called London Road. Like loads of people walking down there, loads of takeaways, restaurants, shops on it. Anyone who knows Sheffield will know London Road quite well. And yeah, I popped into a takeaway. I'd parked just a little bit down because I couldn't get right outside. So I parked on the road, a little bit down. I'd put on the steering lock, walked up. I was maybe like 3-4 minutes in the restaurant, and then as soon as I came out, these people were like screaming at me, like, "They've taken your bike, they've taken your bike." So I sort of ran down to where this guy was shouting at me, and he said, "Oh, you know, they've gone around the corner, they've gone around the corner." And I was like, "Well, okay." And he's like, "If you run, you can catch them." I'm like, you know, I mean, best will in the world, I am not running to catch them up. I mean, what am I going to do? Because, you know, and I said, "Oh, yeah, how many?" And they're like, "Oh, there were 4 of them on 2 mopeds." So it was like 2 on 2 mopeds. And then, you know, 2 of them on the back of the 2 mopeds jumped off, kicked the steering lock off, pushed it down the street. I think kicked the top box off because he just didn't want that. Chucked it on the side of the street. And then, you know, I immediately checked my tracker because I had a tracker on the bike. And, you know, within a few minutes, it was traveling at quite some speed. So I think it had been picked up by a van somehow. Someone had put it into a van and they were transporting it back. And you know, I called the police and they came, and, you know, I showed them the tracker. I showed them where it was. But they said, you know, basically there's not much we can do. They said, "Oh, we'll go over to where you think it is based on the tracker. But basically, unless it's on the street, there's nothing they can do, and they're not going to, you know, break into a house or whatever to try and get it back." Which, you know, I understand that's a legal thing. I'm not going to sit here and moan about the police about that. I'm sure there's more they could be doing about bike theft, but, you know, they were fairly decent to me about it, but basically acknowledged they're not going to be able to do very much, and turned out that way after sort of a few days. They basically contacted me and said, "Oh, shit. There's an ambulance." That scared the living shite out of me. Okay. Let's see. I'm curious to see how many items there are and whether I can perhaps carry, because I don't think I'll be able to carry them in my backpack. But I might be able to carry them under the seat. Oh, let's have a quick look. Where's your deliveroo tag? Order 4.18. I wonder if I can fit those under the thing. 4. Right, let's see. Oh yeah, easy to put them underneath there. Oh, maybe not that one there. Maybe that one down there. This one here. That'd be better. Yep, that goes quite nicely. All right, let's get off to this one. It's about 4 miles to this first order. But this is all coming in at about 14 quid, I think, for this order, which is not a bad little haul. Probably taken me half an hour just over for the whole thing. That's not a bad start being back in the saddle, is it? And I tell you what, it's better than trying to do other types of work as well. I mean, at the same time as my bike got stolen, I've been accepted to do some work for this AI company. And it's basically just sort of analysing prompts to see, you know, what they put out on AI and then evaluating them and stuff like that. Anyhow, so I got this work. And it was paying quite well. It was about like £35 an hour or something like that, which is, you know, not bad at all. But it was very sort of time constrained. You would have like 45 minutes to complete a task or 2 hours to complete this task, and there would be a timer and you would have to do it in this very constrained time period. You couldn't stop, you couldn't take breaks really, you just had to get it done. Which, you know, okay, I can deal with that. However, the big problem with this dumb job was that it was kind of competitive in that they had thousands of people, they'd hired thousands of people to do this, but there clearly wasn't enough sort of tasks for them to do. So basically they overhired, and then it was a question of who sort of grabbed the task first. So they had like this website where you had to go and sort of see if any tasks were available. And then they would, you know, very occasionally release them. But then it would be like, you know, a mad scramble for people to sort of claim them. And often you would sit there, and if you weren't very fast, I'm not exactly the speediest person in the world, you would see the task go up, and then within like a couple of seconds, they'd all gone because all these people had just clicked and claimed them. And also, I think because it's an American company, a lot of the time that they release these tasks are convenient for Americans. So it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning, I would see a message, or the next morning I would see the message, and I'm like, well, I missed that one. And I don't know, it kind of felt humiliating doing this. It was, you know, people sort of talk about this job being lowest of the low and all that kind of stuff, and you know, not the job with the highest levels of respect. But I found that even more sort of humbling and humiliating and lacking in respect for the worker, because it was, yeah, it felt like the bloody Hunger Games of employment, where you're, you know, they release the tasks and you all sort of, you know, rush to the middle to try and claim them, and it's like, well, just give me a job and I'll do it. You know, you hired me on my competencies, but why do it this way? It was bizarre. And after a few weeks of barely doing anything for this job, every time sort of failing to claim the work that was available, I said, I'm giving up. I can't be arsed with this. You know, I'm competent to do this job, but I'm not gonna. It feels like one of those games where they sort of, you know, put money in a chamber and it all floats around. You got to sort of grab it. It feels a bit like that. I just feel it's incredibly sort of disrespectful of our time and our capacity. Because the thing is, you have to be constantly sort of at the computer, constantly waiting for these tasks to be released. To suddenly then to be able to sort of grab some of them. So this whole idea of, oh yeah, you can just work from home, you can work at any time, it's just bullshit. Yeah, you can work from home. Can't work at any time though, because you've literally got to be sat at the computer waiting for these tasks to be available. Dumb work, I'm sorry. I'd much rather do this having a lot more control and agency over what I'm doing than trying to compete in this ridiculous marketplace, presumably with a lot younger people than me who are probably much quicker and faster at doing this stuff and have the more free time to just hang around waiting for work to be released. But also not riding a motorbike for a month made me realise just how much I like riding motorbikes. I really do. Particularly in this weather. Oh man, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. For the last few days I've just been sort of testing the bike out. I only got it end of last week. I've been going down sort of Peak District and just floating about on it. It's been fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Now we're delivering now to a place called Jordanthorpe, which, and this is I'm not casting aspersions on the people of Jordanthorpe, but this is definitely the kind of place I will need to be a bit more careful with my bike. Again, any place where I've seen dudes in balaclavas riding around on mopeds or surons, I know I need to be a bit cautious around, and I have in this sort of place. So I will definitely be locking the bike up here. All right, let's get off to this next one. This one's got a £1 tip on it as well. It's bringing it closer. I think it's about 15 quid this order, which is quite nice. Hi, I'm here with your delivery from Starbucks. Are you at the gate? Yes. Yeah, I'll open them up, thank you. Okay, cheers. Oh, I don't want to drive on that gravel in the middle. I don't want to drive on the gravel. Hello. All right, buddy, how's it going? Hello. That's okay. Have you got your code? 30. Let's check. Yeah, that's gone through. Cheers, buddy. Have a good one. Thanks for the tip. All right, that one's done. Got another quick sort of Sainsbury's order to pick up. Like a £3.50. Only going like a mile and a bit though, I think. So let's go and pick that one up. Only half a mile to the supermarket. It's just down the end of this road. All right, let's pick these two up again. These might be able to go under the seat as well. Thank you. All right, a couple of miles to this one. But I definitely need to get a top box quite soon. I forgot just how awkward it can be carrying a backpack. It's kind of sweaty and cumbersome, and going into shops with them, you're kind of knocking people over, and yeah, it is awkward. All right. Hi there, my dear. How are you? Yeah, not too bad. If you just grab those two, have you got them? And your code 03. Thank you, Wendy. Have a great day. So we just head back into the city, see what else we can pick up. It's been pretty brisk already. Probably been out just over an hour, made about £18–19, which is pretty good for Monday lunchtime. What have we got here? Morrison's. Ooh, where's it going though? Oh, it's quite a big one. Let's accept that one. That's £9. I worry about Morrison's. I know that Morrison's too well. Let's go and see what they've got in store for us. It's a very poorly run Morrison's, I know that. They take forever with the orders. But it's £9 and it seems quite a short order, so either it's a whole bunch of stuff we've got to pick up. But we'll see. Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, we got two orders here, that's why it's quite expensive. They look quite... if that's these two, I'd be very happy. One item and 3 items. Okay. So that one we can have. That one I'm waiting for. All right, I'm just going to take this first order. Yeah. All right. So 2 orders there, but one of them was going to take a little bit of time. I'll explain why I also didn't accept that. All right, so I picked up one of the 2 orders that were available to me, so I'm not sure how much I'll get. It was a £9 order. I might only get like 4 or 5 quid. Don't really care too much about that, just because I looked at where they were both quite small orders. One was had 1 item, one had 3 items. However, one of the items was going to a place called Gleedless, which I am not that excited about going to, at least at the beginning, because Gleedless is currently where my previous bike is. Obviously, I know that because I've got a tracker on it, and I know it's sat in a garage at the bottom of a block of flats there. It's certainly one of my least favourite places to deliver in Sheffield. I've certainly had more incidents with people there than any other place. I've had kids throwing stuff at me there, and like I said, it's clearly where the motorcycle thieves sort of store their bikes. So you forgive me if I'm a little reluctant to at least for now go there, because normally it's blocks of flats, which means you leave the bike right at the bottom, and then you have to sort of go out of sight of it for often for quite a few minutes. So I think I'm just gonna hang on. I know at some point I'm gonna have to deliver there, just because it's a popular place to deliver to, and you get a lot of orders to there. But I think just for the first day at least, I'm gonna skip any deliveries to that place. And in fact, I drove there. I knew I probably wasn't going to recover the bike, but I drove to the place. Because, you know, I'd read somewhere that sometimes they leave the bike outside just to see if there's a tracker on it and if anyone comes to collect it. And if no one does, then they know it's kind of free and they can you know, do what they want with it. So I went over there, followed the tracker, and basically, you know, the tracker was pretty accurate once you're close to it. And I could essentially walk up to the garage that it was in. It was at this sort of lock-up garage at the bottom of the block of flats. I think I tried to get it to make a noise. I think I could even hear it sort of ringing in the garage because I was so close, and you could sort of make it beep. But it doesn't matter. I told the police, makes no difference. They're not going to do anything. It's not sufficient for them to be able to go in and search a property. So there you go. So it's very frustrating to be able to literally stand the other side of a sheet of metal from your bike and not to be able to get it. Hi there, how are you? Let's confirm that. And do you have the code for her? It's because they give you a 2-digit code. You might have to ask your mum. That's okay, don't worry. 49. Okay, don't worry, it's fine. That's great. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right, we got another, I think it's about £4 order in from Costa. So I'm just going to pop along to this. Shouldn't be too long. It's only about 2.5 miles in total, I think. Got £5.50 for that last order, which I'm happy with. So it brings us up to about, I think about £24 in hour and a half for a Monday in the summer. Height of the holidays. No students. It's not bad at all. Go on, sir. No, it's a pleasure. Hi there. Is that 877? Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go drop this one off. It's only just over half a mile, so a nice quick one. Again, I've dropped off to this customer before. Lovely customer. Again, a little bit of a dodgy area. We'll probably have to lock my bike up here. All right, buddy. How's it going? Hello, my dear. How are you? Here we go. Got your code? 76. Thank you so much. Bye. All right, that one's done. That brings us up to about £28, I think, for hour and 3/4, something like that. First hour was pretty good, but it's kind of slowed down a bit since then. All right, folks. Well, that brings us up to about 27, 28 quid. I got to pop off now just to get home to do something else. This was just my first sort of toe in the water after a month away from this and feeling out what it's going to be like with a new bike and heightened anxiety and stress about my bike being stolen. But it was okay. It was quite nice. I think I'll have a sense of when to put the locks on and when not to over time. That guy I just spoke to gave some nice tips about using like a handlebar lock as well, which is, maybe worth getting.